want to sing a song that kind of describes the way some of you look this morning. And some of you, it's impossible. Well, you come home at night and you sit down for a bite and you wore out. And then you're hardly able to get up from the table 'cause you're wore out. Then you go crawl in bed and you sleep like you're dead 'cause you're wore out. And in the morning when you wake up, you can hardly get up because you're wore out. But when we get to heaven with Jesus our King, 10 million years still fresh as a spring, we'll be happy and free, and our bodies won't be wore out. Well, you get up on Sunday and you dread to see Monday because you're wore out. And I lost my place. Then you sit in the church and your back starts to hurt because it's wore out. Then the choir starts to sing and you don't feel a thing because you're wore out. Then you hope that the sermon and song won't be very long because you're wore out. Now you're ready for a biscuit, but your wife, she won't fix it 'cause she's wore out. So it won't take long. Instead of going home, you just go out. Then the waitress makes you nervous with her slow and sorry service 'cause she's wore out. And you're glad it ain't far from the table to the car because you're wore out. But when we get to heaven with Jesus our King, 10 million years still fresh as a spring, we'll be happy and free, and our bodies won't be wore out. Then you go out for a drive in your car with your wife, and it's wore out. And then she begins to worry when you get in a hurry because it's wore out. Then you don't know where you're at, and the old tire has gone flat because it's wore out. And from the sound of the motor, you'll soon be towing her because it's wore out. Here's my favorite verse. Well, your wife calls you sweetheart. There's a sale down at Walmart, and we must go out. Then we begin to argue or the budget, 'cause the checkbook she fudged it and it's drawn out. Then you find there's no stopping. She determined to go shopping, and you're chewed out. And then you find the cashier. Then the cashier finds it hard to read your credit card because it's maxed out. But when we get to heaven with Jesus our King, 10 million years to fresh as spring, we'll be happy and free, and our bodies won't be wore out. Shortly after I learned this song, I sang in the church that I was pastoring this, and this has been almost 30 years ago. And a lady, precious lady in the church, passed away. The children didn't go to church. They lived about 200 miles away. They came back for the funeral. I said, Brother Halford, we want you to preach the funeral. I said, I'd be honored. She was a precious lady. And then they said, now, also said, if you don't mind, we'd like you to sing also for the funeral. And I said, I would be honored. And I said, what song would you like? They said, that song Woreout. I said, oh no. I said, that's not a funeral song. They said, it is for her. And I said, please don't do this to me. Because I knew there'd be a big crowd. Yeah. And finally I said, well, let's leave this verse out and this verse out. Oh no, so that was her favorite verse.
Oh, that hard. Yeah,
and I thought, Lord, I'm ruined.
You got to sing it.
I'm ruined. And so the funeral director, when he got there, I said, what we're going to do, I said, when it comes time to start, I'm going to walk straight to the piano and introduce it, letting the people know why I'm singing it.
Uh-huh.
Of all the funerals, I preached over 2,000 funerals in my lifetime. Of all the funerals I preached, I probably had the greatest results. I've had more people say, I love that song. And a lot of them said, well, I want it at my funeral. I hope I don't live long enough to preach their funeral.
Yeah.
So,
I love it.
I love that song. Okay. If I find the right key here. It's my desire to be like Jesus. It's my desire to be like him. Though often I have failed and brought him such shame, it's my desire to be like him. If you could see where Jesus brought me from to where I am today, you would know the reason why I love him so. Now you can take this world's riches, I don't need earthly fame. It's my desire to be like him. It's my desire to help someone today, someone who may have failed to find their way. I too was once lost, but I found my way to God. It's my desire to be like him. If you could see where Jesus brought me from to where I am today, you would know the reason why I love him so. Now you can take this world's riches, I don't need earthly fame. It's my desire to be like him. 1953, I wasn't quite 10 years of age. We lived in Seattle, Washington. One morning, my dad picked up the Seattle News, and on the front page, with my cousin's picture, he had just robbed 6 banks throughout Kentucky and Tennessee. I looked at the picture of my cousin. I said, I want to be just like him. My goal from the time I was about 9 years old till I was 12, I wanted to be the biggest bank robber in the world. That was my goal. I don't care who you are, where you come from, somebody is following your footsteps.
That's right. You're right, preacher. Right, boy.
My cousin, when you've heard of Alcatraz, when Alcatraz closed down, my cousin was one of the last men out. And only by the grace of God, I didn't go. At the age of 12, God turned me around.
Thank God, brother.
But I wanted to be a bank robber. I want to be the biggest robber in the world. And I'm so thankful for what God brought me from. I want you to listen to that. It's my desire to help someone today, someone who may have failed to find their way. Though often I have failed and brought him to shame, it's my desire to be like him. If you could see where Jesus brought me from to where I am today, you would know the reason why I love him so. Now you can take this world's riches, I don't need earthly fame. It's my desire to be like him. It's my desire